Camera's dirty. Alright, let's do it. Hey guys, welcome back. Today, we're going to do a little bit more work on the Supra. We're going to try and fix the issue once and for all. So previously we replaced the crank angle sensor, thinking that it might fix it, but it just sort of fixed it. But at the same time, there was another problem that was hiding behind that sensor problem. So there's another sensor problem, which is the cam angle sensor. So now, after replacing that, we went for a drive, and these planes, swear to God, hang on. It's just going to be constant with these planes, so let's just continue anyway. So after replacing the crank angle sensor, we had the same problem. There's two cam angle sensors in the Supras. You got this one, the front one, and you got the back one. The back one is the one that you actually use to know where the engine position is. So what we've done, we swapped the sensors around to see if the sensor was a problem, and we swapped it from the new sensor that was at the front that I changed, but I didn't change the back one, to the sensor to the back. Once we've done that, we still had the problem. After that, we also changed the plugs because we thought it might be a bit of interference or noise, because ignition coils create and draw so much current and voltage that it can disturb how a sensor works. Like, they have such a big EMF, electromagnetic field, around the actual core pack that it can sometimes disturb like sensitive sensors. So we changed plugs to a lower heat plug, so it doesn't create as much as a spark or heat for when it ignites. That didn't fix it. After that, we decided to space out the cam angle sensor. So the way we spaced it out is we used 1mm washers on each side to push it out a little bit. I'll show you later as well what was the issue, because the sensor was sitting too close to the actual lobe for it to detect where the engine is. So spacing it out gives it a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Distance. So the sensor it's not impeded by the lobe. That helped. So after we'd done that, I took it for a drive, but I put the hot spark plugs back in, the 8s. Still having a little bit of noise. So today we're going to try and eliminate that noise by bypassing the whole loom that goes to the engine. Sorry, from the cam angle sensor to the ECU. Because who knows, there might be an issue with the loom where it might be joints cut somewhere, like the protective layer over the loom might be split and it's touching or grounding or short circuiting. So we just want to completely eliminate that. So we're going to replace it with a mil-spec wire, which is 20 gauge 2-core wire. It's called Tefsil. This is what they use in a lot of race cars. So what it is, it's got a bit of shielding. So what the shielding does, it protects any noise that comes from outside going into the cable and interfering with the signal that goes through the inside of the cable. That's the main purpose of it. So it just helps to have a cleaner signal that goes from the sensor straight to the ECU. So today that's what we're going to do. So we're going to try and feed everything. I'm going to terminate it, I'm going to pin it out, take it out on the ECU, try and figure out which one's the two, obviously find the pins and find out which one I need to take out, and rewire it, run it through car and pin it into the ECU, and then see how it goes from there. Had to close the garage because it's way too fucking cold. The wind picked up, so the wind makes it fucking tenfold worse, as you can hear the garage door. So we'll just have to work in the dark. I've got a couple of lights I can set up, but hopefully it works out. We can get the car running a-okay. Also, looking at the flashlight and talking is going to have an imprint of the flashlight in my vision for probably the inevitable future. Alright guys, disconnect all these. Once I've disconnected all of them, test from here to the cam angle sensor, find out which wire connects where. Once I've done the testing, then I'll be able to unpin it. Once it's unpinned, run the new pin in. So obviously wire it up and run the new pin in, and then test it that way. So what we have to do is firstly figure out which side or which pin is for cam angle sensor. So should be B2, home usually dictates cam angle sensor, and trigger is obviously crank angle sensor. So that's the positive, home B2, home negative is the ground. Try and find out, so B6 and B2. So yeah, that's all it is. Test the multimeter, if the multimeter's working. Yep, it works. So this little symbol here is the one where you check for continuity tester. Usually makes a noise, but I don't know why my multimeter isn't making a noise. Actually, it might now. There you go. That's how you test it. Or if you want to test the multimeter itself, you just touch the two together. Simple as that. Check the continuity between the point here on the engine bay going through to inside where the ECU is. Once I complete the circuit with alligator clips and a micro multimeter, it should determine if it's pin B2 or pin B6. So that'll be for one. That'll either be for the positive or the ground. See how that beeps? So B2 must be positive. B2 is obviously the positive. So we're just verifying that the B2 is actually what B2 is. So it's the cam angle sensor positive side. Next, we'll go to B6, which is the ground. And we are going to reconfirm if this is the ground. So beeping. So all you're doing is you're completing the circuit. So when you complete the circuit, you have a full circuit to say that there's no broken wires from this point to the engine bay. The next step now will be, I'll have to repin the new loom, so the new TEFSIL wire to the new connector, plug it in, and what I'll also do is I'll pin it into the ECU. I'll just run outside. So I'll just run it from the outside for now. And then once I'm done running it from the outside, I'll actually run it through the engine bay. What the fuck? Anyway, I'll run it through the firewall and straight into the ECU. All right, so fucking after all that effort and getting this done, I really need to buy some crimpers. Pliers don't cut out, so that's done. Okay, so I've done this. I couldn't do it with the head mount on because it just bumped into everything. So what I've done is essentially replace these two that go through the factory loom, fit them in, make sure it's snug, put that back in. And next we'll be essentially running this all the way. This is to test it before we actually implement it into the car. So pretty much running all the way to here, clip that in, test it. So once that's clipped in, what I'll do next is I'll start the car and see if the problem still occurs. I'll plug the ECU in, plug everything that I need to plug in. I didn't unplug much apart from the ECU. Plug that in, plug the ECU in, and then see if it fixes the problem.
Much later.
All right guys, welcome back. So it's been about a couple of days since the last time we worked on the car. We've fixed it, solved the issue. We've also implemented the fix. So as you can see, the white wire that runs along there, it's all in the car. It's all implemented. I've wired it into the ECU, runs along here, changed out the pins, and just pretty much swapped the pins out, and it's fixed the problem, which is good. I'll show you what the difference is now with the new loom, how there's no more noise. I'll get the laptop and I'll show you guys soon. The loom was the problem. I don't know what it is in the Toyota factory wiring, but I think there was a bit of noise with the loom. My tuner said that it might have been swapped over, crossed over in the factory loom. So that's why it's creating noise. So it's a good thing that we eliminated the whole loom just so we don't have any issues further going down the track. So yeah, it's just fixed it. So it's definitely in the loom, which is good. So we finally fixed this issue now, which has been going on for a while. Just never had the time to actually sit down and knuckle down and just actually get to it and work on it. So it's nice to know that we've actually fixed one of probably the worst gremlins this car has. Well, had. Now it doesn't have it anymore. So it'll be good to now to actually enjoy it and pretty much go roll racing with this. I'll probably go testing soon once this is fixed and buttoned up and done. So I guess stay tuned for that because that'll be fun. It'd be nice to see this thing fucking boogie and see how it goes from the outside. So I'll get the scope up again. Not too bad. Nice and clean now. It's very clean. Before it used to be worse. So it used to be just constantly just having noise in the actual signal. Now it's a lot cleaner, which is good. I'm happy. So the signal's improved completely, which is good. Now, just stop doing that. Now, I just have to button everything up, clean up the loom, mount the ECU again, then hopefully go for a nice drive, see how it goes, see how it feels, and then probably go roll race testing, just to see how the car works, what gear I need to be in, how to like just pretty much familiarize myself with the car, and then eventually when this roll race rocks up or comes around, then probably enter roll race. I'm excited about that because that's the direction I want to go with this car. It'll be fun because I'm utilizing the car now for what I actually want to do rather than just sitting in the garage and being a garage queen, which is nice because you don't see a lot of Supras on the road these days, especially in Australia and Melbourne. People don't drive them. I understand why, because they get stolen a lot as well. People, yeah, it's just JDM cars in general. They just get pinched. People find them, easy money for them, and by the time you find it, it's already gone somewhere, parted and just sold. I see the gist of why people don't use it, but I'm gonna use it. I've been working towards it to use the car, so I'll just probably start using it properly. And if you guys want, you guys can come along, watch me go testing, and enter events and see how we go. Hopefully win something, which will be good. But yeah, I'll button this up and then I'll be back to you guys. Alright, so I've pretty much done the best that I could to clean this whole mess up. It's really hard with the patch harness to try and make it clean. So it's all mounted now, that's mounted, that's mounted. This is mounted now too, nothing like a bit of cable ties, but it's all secure. Should move much cleaner now. Hopefully this ECU tray can fit over it as well. So once that's done, I'll pretty much be completed with the car, which is good.